On one side, people in USA want to know about the Epstein file, and pressure is building day by day. On the other hand, Trump's aggression towards Iran, Venezuela, and Greenland is getting hotter day by day. On January 3rd, 2026, the day Trump attacked Venezuela and abducted Nicolás Maduro, this was the raw, unfiltered demonstration of a global power grab that's shaking the foundations of our world. Is it Trump's art of deal, playbook, or chaos and madness? Because what's happening right now may change the world we live in. Trump's eyes are locked on Greenland. Let's understand why. On September the 2nd, US military drone in the Caribbean Sea found what it was looking for, a 12-meter wooden boat. When the first video appeared, it looked like a video game. A grainy drone wheel, a small boat, a bright flash, and then nothing left but debris.
Navy conducting a strike on a ship carrying illegal drugs through the Caribbean.
This is a deadly serious mission for us. It won't stop in just this strike.
A few weeks later, US blew up another boat.
The Pentagon announcing another U.S. strike on an alleged drug trafficking boat decimated off the coast of Venezuela.
And another. And another. Typically, the US search parties will stop and search it. But this time, the pattern is different. Wait a second. Is it same old? Let's reset. After the brutal attack on Venezuela and the shocking abduction of Nicolás Maduro, Trump's not stopping. Now, he's eyeing Greenland. But why? Let's break it down. Look at the map. To us, Greenland might seem like a frozen wasteland, but for the USA, it could be the most crucial piece of land on Earth. Spin the globe to the North Pole, and boom! Greenland's the exact geographical midpoint between the two greatest rivals in modern history. The USA on one side, Russia on the other. Whoever owns this island, they control the front door to the Western world. But hold up, if it is all about security, why Greenland and not the Svalbard archipelago? Even the Croatian president jokingly suggested Trump grab Svalbard instead, since it's even closer to Russia. I'm begging you, Mr. Croatian president, please don't give him any more ideas. The second big reason? Security, plain and simple. Greenland's about 3,000 kilometers from New York, 4,600 kilometers from Moscow. Why does that matter? If Russia launches a missile over the North Pole, radars in Greenland could spot it first. But wait. The United States already part of NATO. They could slap bases and early warning systems all over Greenland if they wanted. And let's not forget, the only country to ever drop nuclear weapon on another nation is the USA, not Russia. Plus, it's been almost 4 years of the Russia-Ukraine war, all conventional, no nukes. But the question still remains unanswered. So why is Trump hell-bent on occupying Greenland? Because he has been told to do so. The people pulling the strings, they are the real puppet masters. Back in 2022, when the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off, they realized that their wild dreams of global dominance were screeching to a halt. East-West expansion? Forget it. Russia, China, India, Iran, and the entire global south are building parallel systems for trade and cooperation, undermining the almighty US hegemony. No more resources handed over on a silver platter. So they flipped the script. They changed the plan to go north and south in the Western Hemisphere and implement the plan of 1940, Technate of America, while keep playing the game known as strategic sequencing. Technate of America because it looks amazing at first, but it is darker compared to hell. Before that, let's understand strategic sequencing. It has two parts, offensive and defensive. Project Power to keep expanding, dominate the Western Hemisphere, so if the world goes multipolar, the US remains the unchallenged king of its backyard. Either way, the roundtables got one single goal: consolidate power into a few elite hands. And who foots the bill? The everyday people of the USA. Now, let's break this down point by point. The attack on Venezuela and abduction of Nicolás Maduro. Sure, there might be justifications floating around for Trump's move so far, but the second he turned it into a television spectacle, parading Maduro in an open van through the streets of New York, he humiliated an entire nation and alienated the global south forever. Look at the map. South America's a powder keg, heavily armed and seething with memories of brutal imperial and colonial history. Trump's antics have antagonized millions, birthing a situation straight out of the Middle East or Africa, right under America's belly. And this is more dangerous than you think. Imagine insurgencies erupting across borders. China's already pouring investments into the region. Russia could arm rebels with advanced weapons. We are talking guerrilla warfare in the jungles and refugee crisis flooding the US borders. Fix it in the box, turning the Monroe Doctrine.
They now call it the Monroe Document.
Oh, sorry. The Monroe Doctrine into a nightmare. Trump hasn't denied putting boots on the ground.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain.
If it does, it's Vietnam 2.0. Endless quagmires, body bags, and trillions wasted.
The story of the United States in Vietnam was a story of ignorance, hubris, arrogance. It tended to be evil.
Maduro's party is still in power. Delcy Rodriguez and her crew will hunt down infiltrators, clean house, and plot revenge. Trump's so-called micro-militarism hasn't changed a thing. It just turned elite US forces into modern-day pirates, chasing oil tankers across the seas like thieves in the night. Geopolitical analysts spout two reasons: the Northwest Passage as a future mega-trade route and national security. Partly true, but let's uncover the real motives. Because Trump, he has been told to do so. Let's go back in time. As the Great Depression deepening in the early 1930s, Americans looked in desperation to a variety of radical social and political solutions. One of the most popular was technocracy, which offered a seemingly scientific explanation of America's ills, namely the disastrous inefficiency of the wage price system, the very heart of capitalism. For a moment, let's say it is achieved. How it will look like. Politically unbiased experts in red and gray technocracy uniforms would assay each nation's yearly energy output, then divide it fairly among the citizenry. Goods and services could be purchased at prices set out on a table of energy equivalents calculated by objective technocratic savants. In simple words, universal high income and carbon tax. Sounds familiar now. How to achieve this monumental consolidation? The government of the United States should take immediate action to acquire these territories and others, such as Greenland and the Galapagos Islands. The acquisition of these territories should be a mandatory part of the program of continental defense for immediate achievement, either by purchase, negotiation, or the force of arms.
So we're going to be doing something with Greenland, either the nice way or the more difficult way.
Reason is, Greenland is cold and allegedly rich in rare earth minerals, a perfect blend for advanced tech industries. Technocratic savants will get the rare minerals for hardware and also perfect for large data centers. Trump called off his Greenland adventure for now.
So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it. We've never asked for anything else, and they have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.
Because they have promised him something else for now.
And if anyone thinks here, again, that the European Union or Europe as a whole can defend itself without the US, keep on dreaming. You can't. We can't.
And I bet you he gets Greenland anyway. And maybe after Greenland is invaded, European leaders and bureaucracy may come to senses and try to find a path and position for Europe in the upcoming multipolar world. And if US invades Greenland, Europe may get a small window of hope. And of all the countries, Germany, which is one of the biggest economy in the European Union, may lead. Why? Nord Stream 1 is still intact and can be used to get the energy that Europe needs from Russia, and that may also help normalize relationships with Russia. But hey, take that last bit as a joke. Why? Ursula von der Leyen, Kaja Kallas, Mark Rutte, Mario Draghi. I could name more European leaders with raging Russophobia. They are not budging. In all these geopolitical moves, why is the US barreling ahead while everyone else plays wait and watch? Back in 1971, the US ditched the gold standard.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
Hooking the world on dollars. China got addicted too, stabilizing America's spending spree. But now, China is flipping the script, internationalizing the yuan, building gold-backed trade corridors that sidesteps the dollar entirely. That's a dagger to the heart. Those grabs in Venezuela and attack in Iran, not just oil heists, it's a calculated strike to force China to buy resources in dollars only, choking their economy until they kneel. This isn't tanks and bombs. It's economic strangulation, dollar weaponization. But China is no pushover. Their weapons restrict silver exports and global tech grinds to a halt. Dump US treasuries in mass. It's mad mutual assured destruction, but with balance sheets instead of nukes. Speaking of meltdowns, the US economy, a tower of bubbles. Wild AI speculations, cryptocurrency hype, and a silver market leveraged 300 to 1 on paper promises. It's all propped up by oligarchs yanking strings and the Fed's endless money printer. But bubbles burst, and maybe even civil war. And Trump is playing the same mad game at home. Since September 2025, ICE raids have turned deadly. 32 deaths reported in 2025 alone, the deadliest year in 2 decades. We are talking record detentions. Over 68,000 people held, many with no criminal records. Horrific stories of medical neglect, overcrowding, and abuse. In one chilling case, a man died after guards ignored his medical symptoms for months. And check this out, recent Minneapolis Police Department speech.
I don't think the leaders in Washington, D.C. fully understand what some of their groups are doing here and how much damage that they're causing. That's why we are here to kind of bring this to light.
I know what it feels like to be stereotyped, judged, and profiled. I know firsthand what it means to be seen before being understood. We should not be at a point in this profession or any profession where you have to teach people how to treat people.
It is pure outrage, waiting to explode anytime.
When they boxed her in, they demanded her paperwork, of which she's a U.S. citizen and clearly would not have any paperwork. When she became concerned about the rhetoric and the way she was being treated, she pulled out her phone. In an attempt to record the incident, the phone was knocked out of her hands, prevented her from recording it. The officer had their guns drawn during this interaction.
Be it external chaos or internal instability, Trump is doing it all with a stroke of a pen. Executive orders galore, sidelining Congress like it's obsolete. This is slowly giving birth to a constitutional crisis for the USA.
Clearly not legal under the Constitution, because though presidents of both parties have argued against this, the Constitution is really pretty clear that the representatives of the people get to be consulted and ultimately approve military activity. That has not happened here at all.
First, on the Constitution, he's just wrong. It does not require it for military activity. It requires it for going to war. And we haven't gone to war here. And otherwise, over our entire history, presidents have had a lot of latitude deploying military forces and using force in a targeted way to deal with threats to the United States and to enforce our laws.
Trump is consolidating power into the hands of a few. On the other hand, with the Genius Act, Clarity Act, moves against the Fed, and the stablecoin pushes, the round table is tightening its grip as well, consolidating resources and assets. That control grid they dreamed of imposing onto the world, it failed globally. So now, maybe it is coming for US citizens. Trump's empire is striking out, but at what cost? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you agree, if you disagree, like the video, hype the video, and stay vigilant. question everything, and remember, the real power play is happening right under our noses. Thank you for your attention to this matter.